live on YouTube, live on Facebook. There we are. Looks like it finally connected. So good evening to you. Welcome to episode 252. For those of you just joining in, we will get squared away here. We'll get episode 252 recorded. First we'll take a minute to check in. We'll see how everyone's doing. We'll say hi to those who are here. We'll just kind of hang out for 10 or 15 minutes, and after we're done hanging out, I will go ahead and record episode 252. You get to watch it being recorded. After the episode is recorded, then at that point, we'll come back to this whole thing and just hang out again. So let me make one setting adjustment here. Give me 1 second to change this. Looks like Georgine's here. I saw Lee check in. Jan is here. Colette checks in from Long Island. Very nice. Karen from Long Island as well. Very cool. All right, one quick thing. There we go. Cool. All right. So we have Lee here, Carrie here. Got that. Diane says good evening. Who else did I miss? Wendy is here. Georgine, I think I got you. Colette, I got you. Okay, I'm going back to the beginning. Marcia's here. Woohoo! Carrie, hello. Megan is here. Anna is here. Betty, hello from Idaho, Minneapolis. Kevin checks in. Very nice. Alice says, I'm here too. Dina, woohoo. Hi, Dina. Dina's waving. Wendy and Travis checking in. Hello. Rock Hill, South Carolina. Jeff checks in. Barbara checks in from Atlanta. Very nice. Becky from New Hampshire. Hello, wing friends. Robin says. Bev says, hello, everyone. So, very fun. Oklahoma. Kitty checks in over on YouTube. Good evening. And then Diane checks in from New York. Cindy is here. Hello. Marcia's saying hi to everyone. California. Kristen checks in. Let's see. Emma is here. Very, very, very cool. So, interesting thing tonight. You know my life is crazy, right? I share that openly and honestly and freely. It's just it's the story of my life. But so here is, I need a little bit of help. Let me go back into my inbox here. Two things happened tonight that don't usually happen to me, which makes me crazy. Number one is, just as I printed the show script, the computer ran out of toner. Jessica's here, good evening. So the computer ran out of toner, so I have no printed email. So now I have to read the entire thing from the computer. I had two choices, not do a show or print or read it from the computer. So I'm going to try and read it from the computer, but I'm not looking forward to that as an option. So that's number one that happened. And then two, here's what happens in my life. I get a lot of email from you guys, which is fantastic. The more, the better. But what happens is I read them when they come in, and then I save them and kind of move them around, right? And then when it's time to do a show, I put them back in the thing. And all of a sudden I'm like, I don't remember if I've read this because I've read it on the show. I don't remember if I've read it because I've already read it to proofread it. So the last email on this show may be a duplicate, and I truly don't know. Ugh. So we have that going on. So anyway, all kinds of messes, but we're just going to get through it. And if it's a repeat email, don't tell me. Don't burst my bubble. And, hopefully I say the same thing. Hopefully I give the exact same advice. If I give different advice, then, you have to question this whole thing. Emma, I tried shaking the toner cartridge. This printer right here, this thing, where is it? This side. That printer right there, evil. Evil thing. It doesn't, you can't shake the toner. I tried it. I tried pulling the toner out and shaking it, and that doesn't work. So anyway, so I had two choices. I had the choice of saying, forget it, no toner, and I'm not sure, didn't have time to validate. So what I did is I just figured we're going to wing it. So Sarah says, if it's a repeat, we need to hear it again, right? I know. No, it's not yours, Lori. And Marcia asked me, so here's funny, right? Marcia asked if I got my new glasses. So I ordered new glasses. Look, I got them. And then guess what happened? I found my other ones. Yeah, perfect, right? So I lost them. And then I couldn't find them forever, so I ordered a new pair. I rushed them overnight to get them here. They didn't deliver on time. I paid $50 to overnight them. They were delivered the second day, and then I tweeted them and said, hey, I paid for overnight shipping, and they were delivered in 2 days. So they 100% refunded my shipping, which was cool. And then so I did 100%. They got 100% refund on my Q&A. Then, as always happens in my life, once I buy something that I've lost, I find the original. Happens every single time. I can look for this thing for 10 years, and as soon as I buy a replacement, that's when I find the old one. So what I've learned is the second I can't find something, I order it a new one. That way I get a separate printer so that this printer is a full color laser printer. It doesn't, I don't need to be using a laser printer to print this script. What would be nice, I'm going to try it tonight. If I can, I've got the computer right in front of me, and I have it in a PDF, and I've highlighted the PDF where I would normally highlight with a pen. So this would be even better, is if this computer version works pretty well. The nice thing is it would save me a ton of paper and toner. So we'll see if that plays out or not. So. All right, let's see. Scrolling through. Shannon says, hi, long time since I've caught live show. You can never have enough pair of glasses. Right, I have 3 of these things now. There's 1, 2, and my other one, it must be in the other room somewhere. But I probably have more than 3. But I like them, so yeah, it's all good. Sarah says, the more expensive, the quicker you'll find it. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Funny. Let's see. Carrie, Jan said I lost my driver's license. Kristen says I'm at my second job, so I have to sign off. Good night. Good night. Thank you. Karen moved over to Facebook. I saw YouTube collapsed on me, and then YouTube's back working. So if you want to get back over to YouTube, it's working. You guys remember? So I had these screen overlays, right? I was testing that for a little while. It went very, very, very well. I'm going to purchase that software. I haven't purchased it yet. It's about $500 to do that. It comes with some other features. Gives me 1 stream capability, but I'm not 100% confident I want to spend $500 on it at this moment. So I'm giving it a couple more days. I've sent them some email back. I have a couple important questions I need answers to before I go ahead and commit to that. But so that's why we're back to this format for a couple days. But we'll get there. Let's see what else. Yeah, Jamie says my husband lost a $150 pair of Ray-Bans. Yeah, I've done that before too. Whew. Let's see, Cindy's here. Hello, Atlanta. Jenny's here. Added comments above if you want to go back and check. Oh, I missed. So maybe after the show I'll get back to the very top. It's hard for me to keep up with all of it. Glenda says made it. Good evening. Keith says, I only have 1 pair of glasses. We'll make you a teleprompter. I would like a teleprompter. That would be nice. Yeah, and Lisa, some weirdos send handwritten notes. I've got a couple handwritten notes before. Jane says, I'm way too chatty tonight. Still high from Adam's show. Oh, Adam. Adam was wearing the curtains I saw. Yep. Lisa's down to $499.99 now. It's actually $750, and it's well, 700 and something, and it's a 30% off code until I put it in my calendar. It's like I like another week or so to make the decision if I want to save 30% on a $700 piece of thing. So it'd be like $489, I think, is what it'll end up being. So yeah, that's expensive. Jenny says, are you going to his February tour date in 23rd? Yeah, coming to Atlanta February 23rd. That's the plan. If you've signed up on fatdag.com already, you will get an email when I finally make those plans. We'll get that done. So that's the only way at this point. There's nothing official. I have nothing other than I want to, and I'm planning on it. And that's the date that I'm going to. If I can make it to Atlanta, it will be on February 23rd. If I don't come on the 23rd, I'm not coming to Atlanta. But because I said I'll come to Atlanta, I will reschedule a trip to Atlanta. So right now, all plans are to get to Atlanta for February 23rd. So no worries there. But until I officially commit, you won't see the official note on that. So Dawn says hello. Sorry, a little late. Sacramento. Karen checks in. Carissa checks in from the UP, and I stand. You need some major motivation to get back on track. Well, that's what we're doing. Very, very nice. Peggy Snowbird from Canada checking in from Florida. Woo, that's pretty cool. Susan says new shirt. Yeah, this one I got before I went to Houston. So Lynn, hello from Valley City, Ohio. Lisa says, get one of those eyeglass necklaces. No. Any info on Minneapolis? Nope. Minneapolis is way down there. I don't even have a date for Minneapolis. So I think in my head, what I've got going on is obviously we did January in Houston. February is going to be Atlanta. March will be New York City, March 22nd or 4th. I forget. The Sunday, whatever the Sunday is in March, 23, 24. And then April will be Phoenix. May will be Tulsa. June will be Toronto and Indianapolis. July will be up in New Hampshire. August will be, did we say something for August? Tampa. September, October, November, December will be the rest. Seattle, Minneapolis, St. Louis. Unless I can squeeze them in somewhere in the middle of the year. Billy, checking in. I saw you. Good evening to you, sir. How are you? Hope I missed you in Orlando, man. I really, really, really wanted to get down to Orlando, but as you know, just did not work out this year. So, all right. Karen says I'm eating dinner right now. Low Point tortilla soup. Staying focused. California in October or November. No, California is not on the list. Phoenix, Seattle is the West Coast this year. Sorry, that's just unless. I mean, right, there's always a chance. So if you want to cover all the expenses for me to come to California, I will gladly come to California on a whatever date you pick. How's that? Yeah, that's the hard part. I'm working on having someone else cover the cost for us, and so I'm waiting for some details there, and it's not going the way I was hoping. Not in a bad way. It's just just not. It's not as fast as a process as I was hoping. So, Linda says howdy. Teresa's here. Vero Beach. Terry checks in. Maria Malia checks in. Hello. Delilah's here. Woohoo! Let's see. Megan has 4 days of tobacco cessation and stop smoking classes. Got it. Melissa says, please don't forget that it gets very cold in Minneapolis in November and December. Yeah, I know. That was the plan. Always has been is to work it so that southern states in the winter, northern states in the summer. There's only so much time in a calendar, and some of those things are specific events that I'm going to, so I can't really move. Like can't move Tampa, can't move Tulsa, can't move Atlanta. The one in Phoenix is pretty solid, not exactly movable. So anyway, so it's not. But here's the good news, right? So in June 28th, I retired from the Air Force. August 1st, officially out. So after June 28th, I have unlimited time. So hey, maybe I could visit in like a random weekday. So that is the game plan. So we have to figure out how to get that happening. But that's. Once I retire from the military, I had no idea the retirement process is way more work than working. I'm spending more time. I'm busier now in this last 6 months than I've ever been working, and it's all trying to get those last minute details squared away. So that's why everything is just coming at me a million miles an hour, and it's crazy. All right. Jane says September, October wouldn't be bad in Minneapolis. No, we'll try it. Lori says I have a 5K in Warner Robins on February 23rd. Maybe I can make it to Atlanta to meet up. Maybe I can just stop in Warner Robins, and we'll call that Atlanta, right? That's close enough. It's an hour, so maybe I'll just come to Warner Robins on February 23rd instead of Atlanta. How's that? What day is February 23rd? Is that a Saturday or a Sunday? Yeah. So Lori, shoot me an email specifically on that event. Mike@fatdag.com, and I will make a decision because I was looking for something to do anyways, so that may just make it easier. I can get to Warner Robins for a day, so we'll see. Karen says no California trip. Nope. We just talked about that. Phoenix when the 27th of April is the plan. So here's the deal, right? The best thing you can do, go to fatdag.com, click on the international tour link, and then sign up for the email. And then as soon as I make official final plans, I push an email out to anyone who's registered so you know exactly what's going on. So please do that. I get it. You guys all ask me, but I feel like I'm repeating the same dates and stuff over again. But the reality is, if you go there before I come to that city, I will email you when I'm coming as soon as I know. So that's the game plan there. All right. Yeah, Lisa is finding a job. Yeah, so that's the other thing. So I have to retire from a job and then find a job. I really would like this to be my job, but so my retirement pension isn't quite as well as my full-time pension. So if this piece doesn't cover the income difference, then I have to go find a job, and that would be a whole different mess. So not talking about that right now because I don't want that to happen. I want to make this work. I really, really, really do. Delilah says, my friend Nicole is watching. Can you ring the bell? Where did I put my bell? There it is. So there you go. So, oops, sorry. So, to Nicole. That's for Nicole. Welcome, Nicole. Very good to see you. If it's your first time, we like to ring a bell as long as I can find it on my desk. Jan says, why do some people have top fan by the name? I have no idea. That's a Facebook thing that Facebook somehow has determined that person is a top fan. I'm guessing it's by interaction. That's the only thing I can think of. It's nothing I control. It's something that Facebook started doing. So there's got to be some sort of algorithm that they have determined that people with the top fan people are awesomer. I don't know. Jenny says it's a Sunday. Okay. 23 is a Saturday. Now I'm confused. It's a Saturday. What day is a Saturday? I'm completely lost on that part. So anyway, March 20, in March, I'm coming. I have a meeting on the 23rd. So that part I know. So I'm either going to do a race the day after or the day before. So I'm either the 22nd or the 24th, whichever one is a Sunday is the one that I'm doing. So I think it's the 24th. That makes sense to me in New York. And actually, Megan, so the top fan has probably nothing to do with the Wise Wingman group. It has everything to do with the actual interacting with the Fat Dag page. So there's a slight distinction. We've had this conversation before. There's a difference between the Wise Wingman group and then the Fat Dag fan page. So top fan is that you interact with the Fat Dag fan page, not necessarily the Wise Wingman group. And of course, if you know, the Fat Dag fan page is a public page, so anything you post there is publicly viewable. Anything you post in the Wise Wingman community is not. So, all right, Anna just got in from Tallahassee. All right, let's get this done. I think we are here for the show. Let's go ahead and do that. Lee says, I wanted to come to Indianapolis for your retirement, but the airfare is exorbitant. Lee, I just flew out to to San Francisco. I know what that airfare is like, so I'll find a way. We'll work on that. Let's see if we can figure out a way. I'm thinking of doing like I was telling my wife this last night, not last night, night before last. I would love to do some sort of promotion / contest / like thing where we and I don't know why I just wanted to do this because it's fun. Is have a thing where the winner gets airfare and hotel to any city they want to join in on the tour. I'm not announcing I'm doing that. I'm just telling you I want to do that. I have to figure out the details behind it, and how do I do it, and is it for patrons only? Is it for what? And how do I and I estimated that would probably cost about, for me to do that, it would probably cost $1,500 or so. So I've got to find out that I don't just want to give out $1,500 as much as I love you, but it would be really cool to have some sort of contest where somebody wins a trip to join us on the international tour. I think that would be kind of fun. So anyway, Lloyd says, first time seeing the live feed. Gave WhysAdvice props to a meeting workshop today. Woo! 13.4 down. Awesome. Very nice. Let's see. All right. So cool. I'm going to skip all the way ahead. I'm skipping a lot of comments here. Michael's here. Woo! Got it. Zara says, I subscribe to get the schedule, but there's a tour stop in North Conway. There is for sure. All right. Let's see. Scroll through. Yeah, get a tour bus. Kathy, that's a great idea. Um, yep. So, yeah, patron's name Delilah only. So that's how it is. So that's what it is. So if you're a patron and your name is Delilah and you give an estimated $2,000 a month, you could win an all expense trip. Joking. So yeah, we'll figure something out. I mean, you know me. I'm not trying to keep the. I don't want to make a divide between those who are patrons and those who aren't. That's not my intent. I've always declared that I want everything I do. I want to be available to everybody. So that's kind of one of the things that I'm not trying to make a divide. That's why I don't push it in that sense. But I also come to a realization. It's funny, and I'm going to put this in the Patreon community as soon as my bookkeeper gets done. I did all my finances for all of 2018, and how much it cost to run this podcast, and how much it cost to keep this whole thing going. It was way more than I ever suspected. And I will release those details to the Patreon community so you can see what your patron's going to, what your support is going to, where the money's going, where it's being spent. I think I want to provide that level of transparency. My bookkeeper is working on that. I sent them a message tonight, and they said that they would, in a couple of weeks or so, I should have that. So you'll look for that. But I believe there's some transparency required back to let you know. But I'll give you a heads up just for fun. Between the podcast and the website and the mail server, let me just pull it up just because I want to give an exact accurate number. Only because it surprised me, it shocked me, because I haven't been paying attention all year. I've just been kind of just doing what was needed to be done, right? But so let's go. If I go into reports. Change that to 2018. So let's do guesses just for fun, right? So software and web hosting, which includes registering the domain, right? Paying for the web server, paying for Dropbox, which keeps all the files connected, paying to get the podcast into SoundCloud, into of course Libsyn. Let's see what else is in here. A bunch of little miscellaneous things, but all of these I consider my web and software and web hosting expenses. Take a guess on what do you think for a year software and web hosting to keep this podcast going is. Lee, you're not even close. So all right, so let's get this episode recorded. At the end of the show, I'll give you that number. That'll be kind of fun. You have to stick around to hear that, or join the Patreon community. You'll get a full report. All right. Opened up. Jamie, you're right on the nose. Yep. All right, so let's do this. Episode 252, is that where we're at? Cheers. I'm going to get the microphone turned on here. I'm going to press record. Yep. Now, Jamie hit it right on the nose. But I'll tell you the exact number after, but Jamie was off. Jamie was still a little low, but I considered it close enough. All right, so quit that. See, now the fun comes because I told you earlier, I'm reading this from a computer, so man, this is not going to be fun. All right, cheers. Cheers. There we go. I like it. That's some good high quality H2O. All right. Are we recording? Hey, we're recording. Karen, we're recording. We're good. No worries. Glenda says 10K all recurring. They're not all recurring. Some were a startup, like buying this microphone is not a recurring cost. And that's just software and web. That isn't travel. Right now add in travel. Hotel, airfare, food. So yeah, anyway, way more than you need to know. I get it, but I'll share all that with you eventually. Let's do this. Episode 252 coming up. Hi, Daisy. Lisa's hi, Daisy. Mic check. Audio check. Testing 1, 2. Looks good. All right. So if for some crazy reason I decide that reading this from the computer does not work for me, I will probably just stop. And then I'll save this episode for when I can print it, and then we'll just turn it into a Q&A. So I'll know halfway through the middle if this is just a terrible idea or not. So we'll see. Here we go. We're recording. Feels weird not having paper, right? I am your host, Fat Dag. You're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at WhysAdvice. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, I'm going to do that over. I missed that whole section. Starting over. See, it's the computer. This computer thing's not working. Susie, hi. I am your host, Fat Dag. You're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 252 of WhysAdvice. And man, we had a great time hanging out in the Wise Wingman Facebook group just before the show. Sorry, we're actually on Facebook and then on YouTube, hanging out before the show, just checking out. So those of you who join the show live, you can go to fatdag.com/calendar, and that'll always let you know when the next episode is once I kind of commit to it. Twitter, following WhysAdvice, gives you that indication as well. Those of you listening outside of the live show, hopefully you've downloaded the WhysAdvice app. That is the best way to hear the podcast. Put the app right on your phone. You can do some searching. There's all kinds of ways to get dialed in and stay motivated. So I want to open up this very first email. It comes in from PJ. You may remember her from an earlier episode. Hello, good morning there, precious Fat Dag. I've been off the grid since sometime in December. Today is the first day I opened the WW app since then, and it's the first day that I've tracked anything since. But it's not the first day that I've listened to one of your podcasts since then. My husband and I are snowbirds, so we traveled to Mesa, Arizona every winter from my home in Rapid City, South Dakota. Rapid City is also where my marvelous WW leader is, Dana, and all of my precious WW family that I often feel like I can't live without. We have a private Facebook group, however, just for our weekly meeting peeps so that we can stay in touch with one another, so I'm not totally isolated from everyone. When DB and I came down here in December 26th, however, I completely lost my motivation to persevere on my journey at goal. And since the weather is more agreeable here than there, I've been out walking on occasion. I don't think my Nikes are operational unless I'm listening to one of your podcasts. When I'm out for a walk and I choose to listen to your podcast, I want you to know I choose you over Oprah or anyone else of notoriety available out there in podcast land. I appreciate what you do so much. I know there is no way you could possibly ever comprehend the tremendous impact you have on listeners out there, because if people are anything like me, we get home from our walk, we've listened to one of your shows, and we can't remember whose email you responded to that inspired us. So we choose not to write in or anything. At least I know that's my poor excuse for an excuse. Well, today I found I had listened to a couple of your most recent podcasts already. So I listened to number 247 where Amy wrote in at the end, I think it was Amy, and spoke of how she lost her motivation as well and is trying to get back on track. And I thought, well, okay, there it is. That's me. I'm a member of your Wise Wingman Facebook group, and though I peek in frequently, I don't comment on anything I'm just a selfish creeper, and I'm unable to participate in the live shows because the internet here in our RV park is just very, very, very poor. Mike, I've really fallen off the path, and I've more than scraped up my knees, I think. I feel like my legs were broken, and I've been in a dark cloud for the last couple months. However, having said that, I have a newly discovered determination this morning after listening to a podcast, number 247. I would not have had that encouragement or inspiration were you not doing these podcasts. Your value goes beyond words by far. I am just so grateful, and I feel like I'm back. And I even posted on Connect this morning for the first time since my fall from grace. Thank you so much for everything you do. I really attribute much of my success in this journey to you being my wingman and my walking partner. I'm so glad to see, I'm so glad that I see that your weight vacillating up and down just a smidge, because it makes you more like us. You are our BFF. You are loved. Thank you, PJ. Well, PJ, thanks for that, right? So, hey, let's get that out, right? Let's go. Yeah. I told you, I got a tweet just before the show, actually. Someone said, hey, I see, looks like you hit goal at 175 and you're not. And so their question was there. And my response was truthful and honest, right? So, I didn't like 175, too hard to maintain, too skinny. And so then I started adding some muscle, and I added some pizza. And so now I have this perfect balance of food, fitness, and fun. To me, the trifecta of those three things combined is what makes me enjoy every single day. At 175, I had a great balance of food and fitness and no fun, right? So as I kind of figured out how to enjoy all of my life, I'm happy right where I'm at. Could I lose a couple pounds? Yeah, sure. Am I overly hyper focused on that? Me at this moment, no. So yeah, what it makes is it makes the journey doable for the rest of my life. That's kind of the cool pieces. So there were pieces that I could do that I couldn't sustain. What I'm doing right now, is sustainable, and I'm healthy. I'm off medication. Everything is just so good. So thanks for pointing it out. It does make it human, right? I get that. So anyway, that's kind of there. Now, I appreciate where you're at in your journey, right? We all have this parts of the journey where we're mentally checked in, we're mentally not. You've chosen to make sure that you continue to stay accountable to your group and accountable to the podcast. Those two things, it's what I talk about all the time on this journey. When we start this plan, we start very solid understanding why. We may not be able to comprehend it. We may not fully even be able to articulate it. But what happens is we have it, or else we wouldn't be joining. So when we join, we have it, and whether we recognize it or not. And then as we work the journey, we somehow get forgetful of why we joined. So staying tuned into a group, staying tuned into the podcast, that gives you opportunity to stay reminded on what it is you're trying to do. Now, certainly moving from South Dakota to Arizona, yeah, that's a complete lifestyle change, right? So you have to allow yourself the opportunity to make that adjustment as your life adjusts. That's what this is all about. You can't get so regimented in one single lane that you have no ability to react and to change as your life changes. Living in South Dakota and living in Arizona, completely different, I promise you, and I bet you know that. So give yourself permission to reset when you get to Arizona and do what you need to do. You have figured out not to isolate yourself and to stay connected. That's where the value is. So keep up the amazing work there. And so as you've said, and as you've now written in, thank you for sharing it, because what you've done when you shared your version of your story is just like you've done as you've heard on the podcast, is you've now normalized this part of the journey for somebody else. Someone else now who said, okay, for so long I couldn't do this, you've now given them some tools, you've given them some heads up as to how to adjust to making sure they're in it for the long time. As you were kind of listening to Amy's email, and you said it spoke to you, and how she lost her motivation, and you said, okay, I thought that's it, that's me. I think that's one of the most valuable things in this podcast is that, we don't remember from time to time the exact name sometimes of some of the stories, because what happens as I read a story that's kind of been sent in, you hear the pieces that resonate perfectly with you, and it gets you thinking in your own lane about how you can use that to modify your journey. That's where the power is. It's because it's not just so that they're sharing it, it's that they're sharing it in such a way where it resonates with you. And so that allows you to then dig a little deeper into your own mind and craft the journey however it is you want it. So you're right, it absolutely is you. Every single email that's been written in probably has some facets of truth that every single person can relate to in some way. That's the power of the community. That's the power of what we're doing here. And that's what's going to get us so that when we believe that we've fallen off the path, and more so than just scraped our knee, we come back to this community, we come back to the group and say, okay, guys, help me. And what you'll immediately find is so many people say, well, that's me too. That's me too. That's me too. You realize you're not alone, and then you realize, boom, you can get it, and there you are screaming, I'm back, right? And then you post it on Connect, and then everything at that point falls into place. December, not too long ago. Just a couple months ago. So even if you've completely fallen off the trail from December to now, it's all of December at worst, all of January at worst. So at worst, it's 2 months, right? That worst case scenario is not going to completely change your entire life. Reset today, reset right now. Use the tools that you know, use the tools that you've developed. You got to go deliberately by understanding how to use the tools. Just plug them back in and get it all done. PJ, thank you so much for writing in. It's truly an honor to continue to hear about your successful journey. You're doing fantastic. Keep up the great work. So, the second email comes in from Tara Bell out of South Carolina, and she says, hey, I'm really struggling. I turned 46 this month. I've been with WW for 2 years now, and, well, I weigh more than when I started. I just don't understand why I can't do this. I want to do it. I know my whys. I want to be healthy and live a long, healthy, active life. I don't want my family to be embarrassed by me. I want to inspire my family. I want to help my mom lose weight so she can get off oxygen. I don't want to be on oxygen. These are all strong motivators. So why in the world can't I do this? What's wrong with me? Why am I afraid to succeed at this? Everything else in my life is going well. Well, knock on wood. Why do I struggle with this? Thank you for letting me vent and whine. I am so thankful for you and the Wingmen. I love all of the success stories that you share. I'm just afraid I will never be one of them. Wishing you all good focus. Tara Bell out of South Carolina. Well, let's go here. First of all, I want to wrap my hands around you. I just want to just reach out and give you a big old hug, because what you need right now is you need someone to tell you, I understand you. I understand where you're at. I've been where you're at. I believe many people in the community have been where you're at. It took me forever to figure out that there was a piece of this journey that I didn't understand, and there was a long period of time where I never thought this was even possible for me. That's what you need to know first. So now I want to dig into it just a little bit. And so when you say I'm really struggling, that's how you open your email. I would challenge you to eradicate that word from your journey. Because there is a difference between struggling and there's, I believe, let me go back. I believe when you use the term struggling, the only way I would accept that usage is if you were giving it 100% effort and it wasn't working. That is struggling. So if you're giving it, 98% effort and it's not working, well, then we got to get that last 2% effort. I'm not saying you got to be perfect. I'm not saying you have to be 100% perfect, but you have to be 100% giving it your 100% of your effort. So if you give it 100% and it's not working, that's struggling. If you give it 98%, 50%, 20% and you're struggling, and it's not working, that's not struggling. That's not following the plan. So turning 46 this month, been on WW for 2 years now. Congratulations on that. That's an amazing accomplishment. The fact that you weigh now more than when you started, I kind of think that's irrelevant at this point. I understand where you're at with that, but what I want to celebrate is the fact that for 2 years now, you have given it some effort. For 2 years now, you've said, okay, I want to do this. So now we gotta dial in a little bit more into how are we going to get this done for you. Your next paragraph is full of your whys, and I love it. I don't understand why I can do that, but I know my whys. I want to be healthy and live a long, healthy, active life. What does that mean? I want you to define that a little more than a sentence. I want you to write, and what does being healthy mean? What does live a long, healthy, active life mean? What activities do you define in active life? What does healthy mean for you? I want you to spend some time writing that out. I want you to then, after you spend some time doing that, I want you to write out, when you say you don't want your family to be embarrassed by you, I promise you that they're not. They probably love you more than you ever know. But I want you to say, okay, wait a minute. What does that mean internally to you? Why do you believe that they are embarrassed by you? I need you to write that down. I need you to spend some time alone getting those words on paper, not just a sentence. You don't need to send it to me. You don't need to share it. You need to get it on paper so you can get it out of your head and talk yourself through it. And as you do that, I said this many times, it should bring tears. As it brings tears, that means you're close to the emotional root of this problem. Wanting to inspire your family is an amazing, noble cause. You should be able to do that. Helping your mom lose weight so she can get off oxygen. You do that by you taking care of you first. She watches your success and wants to emulate it. Not wanting to be on oxygen, you have that control at this point. Yes, they are all strong motivators. So why in the world can't you do this in your words? Because you wrote in your email that you're struggling and you gave yourself permission. You told yourself you can't. When you question your own ability, saying, why in the world can't I do this? What you're saying is, I can't do this and I need someone to tell me why. Well, I need you to believe that you can do it. And if you don't believe you can do it, what I need you to believe is that I believe for you. You can do this. So then your next sentence is, what is wrong with me? There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. So I need you to push a couple things. I need you to push a couple of these words aside. I need you to get rid of the word struggle. I need you to get rid of the concept of what's wrong with me. I need you to quit being afraid. And I need you to quit saying, I can't do this. That's what I'm asking for you. And I'm saying this with a ton of love. I hope you can hear it through the microphone. I hope the love comes through, because what I want you to know is that you taking the effort to be in a meeting for 2 years, you now taking the effort to document this on paper and sending it to me, tells me more about you than you ever could put in words. It tells me you're a fighter. It tells me that you're persevering. It tells me that you want to do this. So I believe you can. If you hadn't written in, then that's a whole different conversation, but you're capable of doing this. The process that we've outlined for you to get to where you want to be is not physically impossible. You've heard on this podcast time and time and time again, people who've had amazing success with traumatic stories in their life. You can do this. So I think the last piece I want to think is why are you afraid to succeed at this when everything else in your life is going so well? Think about that for a second. If everything else in your life is going so well, ask yourself why. Because you've given that piece of your life your time, your energy, and your focus. And if everything else in your life is going so well, which I believe it is, then what's happening is your health and your fitness and your eating habits are getting whatever is left from you at the end of you taking care of everything else in your life. That's the balance that we're after. You've got to balance your health and your fitness with all the other amazing things you've proven to yourself you can be successful at. Take that same dedication, that same level of effort, that same level of focus, and apply it to a fitness goal. Apply it to an attendance goal when it comes to fitness. Apply it to tracking. Apply it to making the proper food choices. Apply that to food preparation. Apply it to not buying things that you know are addictive in behavior that you personally aren't able to allow into your journey. If you apply that same level of focus, determination, and motivation in this lane, the same success you've had in every other aspect of your life is here. By getting rid of the fear, by getting rid of the questionings of why you can't do that, what's wrong with you, and getting rid of the struggle, you can find success. I believe in you. 100%. Not 99.9%. 100% I believe in you. Allow me to believe in you while you build that muscle of strength to believe in yourself. Allow the Facebook group to do it for you as well. James says do it anyway, right? So just do it. We're going to get there and do it for you. So again, thank you so much, Terabelle, for writing in and sharing your amazing story. We got you. We're here for you for certain. The next email comes in from Lee. Lee joins us, obviously, always live on the Facebook group. Lee says, lately I've been pondering quite seriously, deeply the why of my journey. I think I sent a portion of this in not too long ago, so probably both will not be read in the episode, which I understand. I could have waited to write more like I am today. Well, the two go hand in hand, one complementing the other. I am very aware at the scope in which my why has evolved over the 3,385 days since my day one weigh-in. Today is 3,386 on my journey. I'll update the number when this is in an episode. My why was initially numerical. For those of you who know me, numbers are my thing, so that is no surprise. However, in 2009, goal weights were not suggested early on, so the desire was that the number decline. To where precisely, I was not certain. It's different now than my why is continuing to be an active member of WW because it grounds me. It makes me feel important, as few other aspects of my life do. Workshops and being around people who get it are the only place I go where I feel comfortable, including even at times in my own home. At 309 pounds, I was at my day one weigh-in. I was far from happy. My social life was mediocre at best. My love life non-existent. I was unemployed, and more things that were a bulkhead from the etherical happiness that most of us, if not all, seek. Understandably, as this is a relatively short podcast, I will not burden you all with every of the over 3,000 days. So on April 20th, 2016, I hit goal, hitting 200 pounds and surpassing the 200s. Hitting 200 and surpassing the 200, entering the once considered ubiquitous wonderland. Now, one might think the happiness would set in as my goal was attained. I wish, but that's not the case. It's very, very similar to what I tell people on Connect in the Wise Women group and elsewhere. You are not defined by the number on the scale, and similar sentiments. I have come to determine, largely through my WW family meetings, known as workshops, that the mindset and all I've changed, very much for the better, are not enough to magically flip a switch to happy. Bear in mind, I'm not unhappy, nor am I happy. I'm mediocre, also known as good enough. I have comfortable living arrangements. I socialize. I attend WW workshops and do many things that almost think that they should make me happy, but they don't. There is still something missing. Maybe it will always be missing. Maybe it's more the reality that as humans we always want a bit more, a fantasy ideal. My newest outlooks I share with as many people as I can are, every day is today. Make mostly plan-friendly choices today. Love yourself today. And dwelling on the past is looking at where we were. Today is where we are. Now, this next part will be a repeat of some of the segments of past letters I wrote, cited in episodes 131, 160, 209. A huge factor in my inabilities to satisfy my needs of job and relationships and romance, etc., is that I am in the elite group of people who have sustained a traumatic brain injury. The abridged version is that all these things would be vastly different, as would every aspect of my life, if I had not been plagued by that one instance of a car hits bicycle, followed by head hits windshield, exposing my neural tissue to the air, and ultimately exposed head is bombarded with microorganisms in the dirt in the plantar area. I could have, and I've written 50 pages typed about this, but today you all are spared a week-long podcast of my life story since 1985. The point I'm eventually getting to, and now reached, is that I've come to terms that this is the reality of mine, is who I am. And my job as a human being is to live life to its fullest. For instance, every choice made since that one ill-fated day led me to become the person who gained 40 or so pounds his freshman year of college, and eventually took the steps into my first Weight Watcher meeting October 20th, 2009. In a roundabout way, having a TBI led me to meet all of you. And I'm very glad I have this community as part of my repertoire. Would I prefer never having a brain injury? Probably, but that's the only reality I know, so I have no choice. My happy enough attitude is far past the unhappy I was years ago. In 2009 and before, I try to count my blessings every day. Starting weight, 309, October 20th, 2009. Goal weight, 200, April 20th, 2016. Current weight, 187.4. My 487th weigh-in and check-in, Lee. Lee, I always enjoy your emails, your interaction on Twitter, your interaction in the Wise Wingman Facebook group. You're an amazing dude. It was such an honor to walk with you in San Francisco and actually meet you in person. Highlight of the 2018 tour for sure. So thanks for all that. And so I agree with you. Being a member of WW, being a member in this community, it certainly does ground us, and it gives us that community where it kind of gives us a little bit of importance, right? Where we know we're helping other people change their lives, and that feels so good when you do that. So yeah, very few aspects of our lives give us that sense of importance. And it's not an importance in a way where, look at me, I'm important. It's important as we realize the work we're doing interacting with each other is important to each other's well-being. That's the importance behind it. So we realize that people rely on our stories, people rely on our interaction, people rely on our little bit of motivation to completely change their lives. And as they change their lives, that's important work. So yeah, being in the workshops and being with people who get it, it does make us feel comfortable. It does make us feel a little important. But it's that community aspect of where we really are to say we're home. We're with people who get it, and that is exactly what we're after. So I completely agree with a couple things you said in your email, is that hitting goal is an amazing feeling. There's nothing like it. But it doesn't instantly flip that happy switch. You don't instantly hop on the scale and say, yeah, I'm happy. Sure, you're happy in the moment and you're celebrating, but if there are issues in your life, they don't go away when the scale says you've reached goal. Those issues will continue to be there. So we have to build ourselves up in a whole person concept. It's not just about the scale. It's not just about getting some exercise. There is this balance of everything we have to do to manifest our own happiness. You found a way to do that, and I agree with you. Just because you may not be happy doesn't mean you're unhappy. I get the good enough, and good enough / complacency, but in this case it's a little worded a little differently. But there is this sense where you're like, no, everything's just okay. And so, you're not always going to be missing it. It's there. You found a way to find success by understanding that every day is a gift. Every day is today. The best you can do is wake up today and do the best you can today. Make the most plan-friendly choices today. Love yourself today. Don't look too far into the future. Don't look too far into the past. It doesn't do you any good. So live your life the way you are. And so it truly, like I said, more than once, an honor to have met you. The fact that TBI led you to meeting us, if that's the way it had to be for us to meet you, thank you for shouldering that pain. Thank you for shouldering that burden, because I never would have had the opportunity to meet you otherwise. So the fact that you persevered and that allowed me to meet you, allowed this community who's now jumping up and down with love and support for you online, is telling us, how awesome you are. We're all incredibly inspired and proud to have met you. So thank you for shouldering that pain, going through all of that, so that we could be in your presence as well. So counting your blessings every single day truly is what it's all about. You wake up every single day, you find the motivation to do your absolute best by being thankful for what you have and working that to the best of your ability. Lee, keep up the amazing work. And truly, like I said, and I just feel like I'm repeating myself, but truly my honor to have walked with you in San Francisco. And I promise you, if there's ever a way to get back to San Francisco, that is on my list, simply to meet you. It was that fun. And so For the rest of you in San Francisco, you can hang out as well too. We're glad to have you, Jane. For certainly, you could hang out with us as well. But you get the point. So thank you, Lee. Keep up the amazing work. Keep inspiring, my friend. Keep letting everybody know that this is doable and there are ways to get it done. This next email comes in from Kristen. Kristen says, "Dear Fat Dag, hey, like many others, I've been listening to your podcast for some time now. I've considered writing in many times before, but I know the time is now. You always ask us if we believe in ourselves. The truth is, I believe in myself more on some days and less on others. I've been on and off Weight Watchers my whole life. Most recently, I committed myself on December 26, 2018. I spent Christmas Day, my 41st birthday, stuffing myself and feeling completely miserable. I decided when I went to bed that night, I was done living this way. Since December 26th, I've worked to stay focused on my goals. I'm an online only, and I find posts from others a lifeline that I connect to daily. I've changed the way I shop, the foods I eat, and how I prep my meals and snacks. I work on increasing my water and strive to get activity daily. I've joined various challenges and connect and celebrate the new challenges. I've been so proud of these accomplishments, and then about 5 days ago, I tweaked my back during my daily routine. The pain has been overwhelming, and I've been unable to participate in my activity challenges. This has led me to feelings of frustration and fear. I have proceeded to make poor food choices and only got my blue dot 3 days this week. I've eaten Oreos and chips, and even though I have healthy options prepped and ready, I know I am sabotaging myself with emotional eating. Tomorrow morning is my routine weigh-in day. I'm afraid of a gain. I know that the number is just data, and an increase would accurately reflect my lack of activity and several days of emotional eating, but Fat Dag, I do not want to face that gain. It's almost as if acknowledging that gain will only confirm my fear that I will truly never really reach goal, destined to yo-yo back and forth with my weight. I know I need to reset and focus. Thank you for letting me get it out on paper, and thanks for all you do, Kristen. Highest weight 221.0 on 11/12/2018. Current weight 200.9 until tomorrow's weigh-in. So Kristen, quick math tells me Lee will give me the exact number between 221 and 200.9, but I'm going to say it's roughly 10, 9, 20 pounds, 9, 10 pounds, 20 pounds. Yeah, 20 pounds, almost 21 pounds. Whew. 20 pounds. You don't do that on accident, right? You certainly don't. You're deliberately focused. You're dialed in. You're getting it done. And so I understand that all that was prior to you wrenching your back, right? So think about this now, is that there will be times in your life where whether it's your back, whether it's your ankles, whether it's your knees, there will be parts of your body that ail you throughout the periods of life. At some point you may come down with a cold, and that's going to change things for you. So we have to work this journey in a way where no matter what comes at us physically wise, we have the ability to reset from that. So keep understanding the piece that allowed you to lose the 20 pounds was not the fact that your back was in great working order and that you completely were able to work out to the point to lose 20 pounds. You can't work yourself out enough to lose 20 pounds without changing and modifying your eating habits. So celebrate that and understand that the majority of what you did came from how you ate, not from what you did in the gym. You made the decision on December 26th that when you went to bed on that night, that you said, I'm going to bed, I decided I'm done living this way. That decision is what changed your life. And so the act of deciding certainly is it, but you woke up the next morning and you took action in relation to that decision. And you've continued to take action to the tune of 21 pounds lost. You did that by changing the way you shop, changing the foods you eat, how you prep your meals, and how you prep your snacks, increasing your water. That's how you did that. So I want you to understand that the success that you had comes from all of those things, not solely from the fact of your activity. So continue to be very, 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 very proud of those accomplishments. Those accomplishments are what got you here. So then you lead to feeling the frustration and fear, and then that leads to the poor food choices. So what we have to understand now is the mindset that comes into play. You're in a little bit of pain. I apologize for that. You're in a little bit of pain, and that pain leads to frustration. That frustration allows you to say, ugh, I don't care, and then make poor food choices. Recognizing that now, saying, wait a minute, but before all this, I was eating better. I was shopping better. I was preparing my meals. I need to get back to that. So you get to the point of you believe in yourself more on some days and less on others. The days that you believe in yourself are the days that you set yourself up for success. Because there will be days and times when we're not our strongest. Those are the days we ask ourselves to do our best. But what I need you to do and understand is the days that you're your strongest. When you are the most motivated, when you are the most on fire, when you're the most ready to do this, you figure out what habits you built that you can use down the road on the days that aren't your best. If you know that today you're overly strong, then that's the day you download the app. That's the day you subscribe to the newsletter. That's the day that you find an accountability partner. So that the next day, if you don't have all of that energy at your disposal, then what you have is some habits that will allow you to carry through until your energy kicks back to where you need to be. I'm so glad you wrote in. I ask so many people all the time, send in this, because what you're going through is not at all unique to you. So thank you for finally getting it out, putting it on paper, and saying, yeah, I need to write this in. I encourage all of you, send an email in onair@fatdag.com. I get them, I'll put them in the order and get them, put them in the queue and get them working out. But we need to understand that we have the ability to do this. I understand the fear of the scale. I understand the fear of feeling like I don't want to know the number. What I've said more than once is you weigh the exact same, whether you weigh the exact same whether you hop on the scale or you don't. Knowing the number allows you to formulate a plan and go get it done. Continue to do all of what brought you to the success, understanding that what brought you to the success was not 100% your activity. You can get this done. You can do it. And when you do, we're going to celebrate. Folks, what is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the WhysAdvice podcast, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations because I want you to be proud of what you're doing. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember now that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Let's see. Scrolling through. Yeah, Mark says he was right. This is a repeat from 2 weeks ago. Yeah, after I did, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. But I already printed it, and I said, well, you know what? Fine, we'll hear it again. So, and I probably said something different this time. So it's all good. Lori says, I've gotten to the point that I pretty much know what he's going to say before he ever says it. So Lori, that is cool. So I saw Gary V. If you guys follow Gary V. Gary V. said that the other day on one of his on his Instagram. Someone said to him, Gary, you say the same stuff over and over and over again. He's like, right, because that's what you want to make something up just to get some new content, something I don't believe in, So yeah, so this is what I believe in. So what I'm telling you and what I say is what I believe, and so I'm going to tell you what I believe. It's exactly like Gary Vee does. Not that I'm any comparison, but Yep, funny. Cool. So yeah, Ronaldo says knowing the number makes you form a plan. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? If you know, that's the only reason we have the number is that we have a cause and effect. If I do this, the number does this. If I do that, the number does this. So, yeah. Whew. Lisa, if you kept the emails by sender, you could do a Kristen episode, a Lee episode. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, so like I said, I go through what happens, and so here, and I try and read them when they come in, and then my brain is such where, once I read it, so I kind of what I need to do is but I don't want to do this. What I need to do is not read them until I'm ready to do the show. But what happens is I read them and say, oh yeah, I want to use that later. And then, but once I've read it, sometimes I have a hard time remembering, did I read it or did I use it? Because they're all that good. So anyway, Debbie says, new to me, here's something different. And I'm sure I said something different. So, it's good. Good. Something similarly different. But cool. All right, so that's the game plan there. So yeah, that's the end of episode 252. 252. Woo! Awesome. All right, on that note, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I want to get this thing published tonight so that we can have it in your app tomorrow. Yeah, Lee said you need to. I'll forward you all the email, and Lee, you can send me the emails as I need them. How's that? Kidding. It would be nice though. It would be nice, but anyway. Bev says if my nose would dry up, it would be 100%. Maria Malia says good night. Anne says every story strengthens all of us. I agree completely. Yep, completely do. So very cool, and it strengthens me too. So Maria says great podcast tonight. Thank you. Anna says I understand. Yep, very good. So Marcia says long show tonight. 4:45 is going to be here in a minute. Good night all. Yep, Marcia, good night. See you online tomorrow. I sent you an email a little while ago. Hopefully you got it. You should have gotten it. So if you didn't, go check your email because I sent you one probably 2 hours ago. It looked like a forum email, but it wasn't. TJ says you're the man. Good night. Good night. Yeah. Far from it. I'm just someone who kind of figured this out, at least for me. And so I share your versions of the story so other people can figure out their versions of the story. It's kind of what it's all about. You got to write your own story. This gives you a chance to share what you've written down and what you learned. So very fun. Cool. At some point, I'm still working on it. At some point, I'd much rather have what do you guys think? Would you rather have and I know, reading emails is cool stuff, but at some point, wouldn't it be fun to actually have a conversation with each other on the podcast? That's one of my goals. It really is, but, so we'll see. I have so many goals. And you guys get hopefully you're starting to see how my brain works. I have no filter in that sense. Like my creative side goes, and I tell you what I want to do creatively. And then sometimes I just never get to it. And, but it would be way fun. So Jane says, yes. Yep. I agree. So, Delilah says, great show. Doesn't matter if you say the same stuff over and over. I need to hear it each time. Yep. And Anna confirms, yes, it would be nice to have that. So the downside to that is, would you guys want to have this conversation live or, Ann says, Mike, you're always thinking, right? So ideally what we would do is we would record it like in the middle of the week, and then I would just put it out on this thing, but I don't know how I would be able to get the audio from a live, I guess we could do a Skype thing. I don't know, but I don't know how to get the live show there. There's a way, I'm sure. That software that I'm looking at purchasing probably does that. But then also too, I got to get, as we've always said, I've got to get out of my living room. But we'll get there. Just, good. The good news is we're not going anywhere, so we have plenty of time to figure this whole thing out. So Jane says live in Mexico. Yep. All right. On that note, let's get out of here. Laura says hello from Ohio. Good evening to you again. Hope you're doing well. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. We've been an hour, 70 minutes. Wow, crazy. That's an hour and 10 minutes, right, Lee? Yep. Lisa, so reveal the number. Yeah. So let's see. Software and web hosting expenses for 2018, $10,892.72. Travel transportation was, travel and hotel, $8,237. Business, meals, which was $5,786. So yeah, lots of money, but it's fun. Right, so hopefully 2019 I can figure out a way to streamline some of this stuff and not buy airline tickets at the last minute. That'll cut down on the travel cost, Anyway, I just share that for Debbie. Debbie, way more than I thought too. Trust me, almost 100 13, so 8 and 5 is 13, 14, almost 14,000 in travel and food. Yeah, so the Bev I know. Now, so a slight transparency is that last disclaimer. I wasn't doing a great job with my book, so some of these things may be, in the wrong category. Some of the things may be somewhere in the wrong, but it's all there. Here's a fun one, just for, and I'm going to share all this in the group, but here's a fun number just for GWhiz. Postage and shipping. Any idea? Take a guess. Stamps. How much did I spend in stamps in 2018? Yeah, Lisa don't eat. So I'll let you ponder that. But stamps alone. Yeah, Debbie says travel does not surprise me. Yes, I mean, it's up there. Yeah, Judy says stamps. Yes, too much. Yep, too much. It wasn't nearly as much as travel, so thank God. Whew. But yeah, stamps and postage, a lot. Jan says 500. No. Glenda says 1,700. Closer. Yep, getting closer. Let's see if there's any others before we wrap this up. Diane says 1,500. Nope, Glenda's closer. So, 20. I love mail from you. Yep. Right. So Lisa's 5,000 wingmen. Well, 50 cents minimum. So, yeah. And so I do get a slight discount for shipping, but 2,206.55 in shipping. So, yeah. So anyway, so that's where the money goes. So, but like I said, I have a complete plan to get all of this into the Patreon group so you guys can see it a little differently. But truly, your support is what's making this happen. So thank you for all of that support. On that note, way more than you need to know. Let's get the heck out of here. Good night. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I have my Weight Watcher WW Tuesday night meeting. Let's try and check in tomorrow night after the meeting, shall we? Let's get back into that routine where after my meeting, we'll just do a quick little check-in. Yeah, I love it. Barbara wins the internet right now. Barbara on YouTube wins the internet, and I'm going to end on her. I have a couple more things I want to say, and then I'm going to say what she said, and then we're going to be out. Anyway, so tomorrow night, let's check in. That's the plan, right? At least for 20 minutes or so, just to get us here. So it'll be around 9 p.m.-ish. That'll be the game plan. We'll get that done, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Barbara on YouTube says, money out with